First off, just want to thank Fasken a lot for being gracious this morning and hosting us in this space. It's awesome, just being in the crypto and blockchain space. It's such a tight-knit community, and still in Toronto, it's just kind of we still get that feeling a year and a half later that people are trying to help each other out. And so, really, thank you to Fasken for doing this morning. So, unblocking the blockchain. Why are we doing this event? Well, there was a lot of hype. There seems to be less hype right now in the whole space altogether. And just raise of hands, who is actually invested in crypto or holds crypto assets? Just wow. I hope no one's looking at their portfolio right now. But there was a lot of talk about that stuff last year. Just background on who I am for people that don't know. I'm the CEO of Northern Block. We're a blockchain product venture shop. So we make investments in blockchain startups, and we build blockchain startups ourselves. We have a very strong developer team here in Toronto. Small size company, about 25, but really sharp people that we're lucky to have. So anyways, thanks for coming today. What we want to talk about today is, we're at a point where it's about just over 10 years since the Bitcoin white paper came out. So there was a lot of build up off of that. People were getting into the space, and the whole blockchain thing kind of became popular. There was a lot of hype, a lot of money raised over the past few years, but we're still not seeing so much stuff in production. There's still a lack of decentralized applications that are out there. So looking at this curve, we feel like, it went through a lot of hype last year, and we're at a point where there's a lot of people building, but there's still a lot of challenges getting decentralized technologies, decentralized applications in production. And that's really what we're here today to talk about. And we brought on some great people that are in the space, that are working with some great clients and partners that are actually building, that we hope we could shed some light into what the problems or challenges are that people are facing to get stuff into production, and just hear about how we're overcoming these challenges and what we're doing moving forward to get decentralized technologies just more mainstream. So from the business to consumer side of things, I'm just going to do this short, brief intro for a few more minutes just to lead into the panel. I hope that it gives more context. But so the business to consumer or customer, there are a few things that were inhibiting mass adoption of these technologies over time. One is just wallets or ease of use. Managing your own crypto assets is not the easiest thing for the regular person. So there was just a lack of easy ways to do so. There was a lack of developer tools and tools for developers to actually build easy to use applications on top of these blockchain technologies. So there's a lot of rudimentary tools that were built and are still being built that is going to make it much easier to build applications on top of. And lastly here, it's a different mindset that we're dealing with these technologies, right? We're not trying to improve a process. We're not trying to use this for cost savings. We're trying to build blockchain-based applications that will totally change the way we do stuff. So it's different business models, it's different revenue models. It takes a learning or growth mindset to be able to really figure that out and be able to make the call to build these things rather than just making small improvements. We always laugh when we look at this. This is just, there's so much hype over the past year, but it's kind of funny to see the adoption in the space, in the public crypto space right now. There's still a long way to go when you see, hyper dragons being the #1 used game. There's a lot of ways to go, but it's still very early stage. There's a lot of money that's been flowing into the space, but because of the lack of execution, the word blockchain seems to kind of taken a more negative name over the past, over this year, let's say. There's a lot of money pouring in the space through ICOs still today, right? There's less of them. There's still a lot of money going in, but there's also a lot of investments from private capital as well. Enterprises are getting very involved in blockchain or blockchain initiatives, and most of you here are either part of that or aware of that. But some impressive stats here: 3 trillion in annual business value, Gartner forecasts, and that would mean 10 to 20% of the world's economic activity would be on blockchain ledgers. There's a lack of talent in the space. Everyone is trying to hire still. I think there's a lack of software engineers overall. The blockchain space seems to be even worse, and we're definitely feeling that. And lastly here, a PwC study. They interviewed over 500 executives at different enterprise firms, and over 80% of them said they were investing in blockchain products or doing some sort of proof of concept or pilot. And so if we ask what they're doing, there's some pretty heavyweight things here. So supply chain, Internet of Things, identity seem to all be popular areas that people are working in. But again, still we're not seeing enough of these things in production yet. So how do we solve this problem? I think the B2C side, there's a lot of infrastructure that still needs to be built that will solve it, but there's more than just the technology that is inhibiting people from actually executing and putting real blockchain-based products into production. So that's what we just want to discuss here this morning. So without further ado, I will introduce our panel here.